Hello everyone, I am Surrendal the Awesome, and I'm back, and I'm ready to look at some more r/ckYouKaren. But before I get started, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and if I can't convince you, perhaps this picture of my cats will convince you. But without further ado, let's get into this. So his first post here says, Hoa Facebook group Karen probably thinks that it's everybody else but her who is wrong. And this person here says, Sunday night, dark 30, 29 degrees outside, a little guy, maybe 7 to 9, was on the basketball court shooting hoops in a sweatshirt. I mean, okay, yeah, that is kinda cold, well, quite cold, but still, I mean, you do realize how hot it gets when, you are exercising, right? So, yeah, there's that. Anyways, this person goes on to say, no adult around. My husband and I were walking the dogs, and I asked if he was alright. He said yes. I asked where his coat was, no answer. I asked where his parents were, no answer. I mean, he also probably was told never to talk to strangers. Anyways, this person goes on to say, I asked if he needed any help. He said no. I asked if he lived on the park. He said no. As we rounded the turn to go home, he was still there. I was a hair from calling the police, but when I turned back, he was gone. If your child was that child, next time I won't hesitate to call. I mean, okay. I'm sure the parents probably know where he is, so you don't really need to worry about that. I think you're kinda worrying a bit too much there, my friend. And this person down here says, as a kid, my parents taught me not to answer questions like that from a stranger. At that age, I wouldn't have worn a coat, still haven't pulled mine out yet this year, and I definitely wouldn't have indicated to a stranger where I live or any personal details. I mean, that's a pretty good point. And this person down here says, I know, my husband said the same thing, but if you walk away and leave a child and something happens, you live with the guilt for the rest of your life. We have standing water everywhere in this area. As a mother of 6 and a grandmother of 7, a retired teacher, social worker, and psychologist, I had to try. I mean, I'm kinda split on this person here, personally, just from what I've read so far. Anyways, this person here goes on to say, we are taught to never just walk away. 29 degrees with warnings on the news of frostbite being outside only 10 to 15 minutes. Hypothermia from sweating is a real possibility. I had to check on him. I mean, that's a pretty good point. I mean, yeah, the child was probably taught not to talk to strangers, so, I mean, I guess I can't really blame you for worrying, but I don't think calling 911 maybe have been the best response, personally speaking. And this person here goes on to say, Happy Thanksgiving to friends and neighbors. Please remember to clean up around your homes before winter sets in. There are quite a few yards that haven't been cleaned up since early September. Let's make our neighborhood one that everyone wants to actually live in. I mean, that is actually a pretty good idea to maybe clean up around your house and maybe do some yard work before winter sets in, so I do have to side with them on this one here. And this person here goes on to say, for those of you who have small children who have played at the basketball courts, specifically this Tuesday and Wednesday, there was some nastiness going on out there with children on the courts, with small children present. And I don't just mean filthy profanity, I mean sexual innuendos with cell phones being used. Do you know where your children are? Take a walk around our park. I mean, you really can't control what children say, and also, I'm gonna kinda give this person like a 20 out of 50, personally. I mean, yes, I do see some of the Karen-y stuff, but it's not as bad, and in all honesty, I've seen worse HOA Karens, and this one here does have some pretty reasonable stuff as to what I would personally think, but that's just me personally. And this next post here says, Karen versus dog owner. And this guy here says, I was taking my dog to the park, and as we walked by the playground, a couple of kids ran up to see my dog, who loves kids. He was a minor celebrity to the kids at the park. So, I kneeled down so I could hold his harness and be in eye level with the kids, and they patted him. Then, after a couple of kid anecdotes and telling me about their dogs, I stood up and walked off, and had a woman follow me all the way to the dog section and threatened to call the cops if I ever did that again. For what? I mean, seriously, it was just, kids, petting a dog. What's so harmful about that? Anyways, this guy here goes on to say, so naturally, I did it as I left, and sure enough, she went and got the officer who stopped by the park on his patrol. After asking me a handful of questions, he told her to F off. It's insane how brainwashed our culture is against men interacting with children in a public open spaces in a completely safe way, like my dog wanting to talk to kids, not me. Yeah, for this one here, I'm gonna give this like a 45 out of 50. I mean, OP here wasn't really doing anything harmful, and plus, it was a dog, okay? I really don't think he would be that subtle if he was trying to, prey on children, because that is pretty not inconspicuous there, my friend. And this next post here says, military spouse Karens are a special breed. And this person here says, last night, our family went to CC's Pizza in Norfolk area. See the attached picture here. As a military spouse, I asked if they give military discounts. Cashier responded, we give free drinks to active duty or retired military personnel. I asked, what about spouses of deployed members? Rude cashier said, man is issued a sea bag, not a spouse. I mean, yeah, that is a pretty good point. In the military, you're not exactly issued a spouse, as far as I know. I'm not in the military. Anyways, this person goes on to say, of course my face changed, and I said, I'm going to have to call corporate. He said, go ahead, but I'm the district manager, so nothing will change. If you wish, we can sit down and talk. Thankfully, my kids and father-in-law was with me, and it was a celebration for my soon-to-be 10-year-old, or I would have left. I don't care about the free drink. Why do I find that just a little hard to believe?
I care that this man feels that only the service member serves and openly gives such disrespect to military spouses.
Okay. You do realize that if you're a military spouse, it's not a thing of, you also serve. It's if your spouse is in the military and, is actively serving in the military, they're the ones who serve, not the spouse. I'm gonna probably give this like a 50 out of 50. You do realize that if you're a spouse, that doesn't mean that you serve in the military, right? I think with that, that's gonna do it for today. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.